Communications consultant with Ingenuity Marketing. Ingenuity Marketing Group is a consulting firm that specializes in PR, advertising, and marketing for the professional services industries. Rachel has authored several books and is viewed as an expert in the industry. Her topic today is going to be content strategies.
All right, thank you. And thanks everyone for being here. So if I was going to say one thing about Ingenuity Marketing Group, in addition to what John already said, it would be that we're known for being a creative agency that is still able to get things done at an amazing pace. If you want to know more, you can check out our website, ingenuitymarketing.com. So you may be able to hear from my voice that I have a cold today, and I want you all to know I got this cold on purpose for this presentation, because I want to hammer home the point that a good content strategy has to be straightforward enough that you could explain it with a head cold and carry it out with a head cold. All right, so we're going to talk about creating and maintaining a content strategy without losing your mind. And I know some of you, you may be, in addition to the owner of your business, the marketing person. And some of you, you just want to know enough so that you know when your marketing team is on track. So we'll do both of those. And I'm not going to talk directly about marketing automation and some of the really cool technologies that are out there, but I guarantee you if you implement a content strategy like this, and then you choose to go the direction of marketing automation, or you want to scale up your social media, it will scale up with you. That's the beauty of having a good content strategy. So the other day in my email, I got this great ebook, Creating a Content Machine, and I got all excited. How many of you want to create a content machine? Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Show of hands. Okay, and then, now here's the letdown. Here's tip number one that they had in the ebook. How many of you can afford to run out and invest in a qualified content hire tomorrow? Exactly. So this presentation is for those of you who can't. So to start off, this is a quote from the Senior Director of Global Marketing at SAP. And he says, marketing today is difficult, which we all know. There are 200 million people on the US do not call list. Over 86% of TV viewers admit to skipping commercials. 44% of direct marketing is never opened. Roughly 99.9% of online banners are never clicked. Buyers wait until they have completed 60 to 80% of their research before reaching out to vendors. Now the beauty of content marketing and having a strong content strategy is that you hit your potential buyers, your prospects, while they're doing that 60 to 80% of their research. And you can see from this quote that your content really needs to stand out. But if you do that right, it will motivate sales. I heard two anecdotes just in the last month. One actually in our office from a client we have where we're helping them produce a video blog. And they just got their second sale off that blog. People come in, the blog answers accounting questions, and because the blog is very personable and direct and on point, they decide they want to work with this firm. So that's one great example. Another one comes from the enterprise space, where a friend of mine who's a content strategist there says that one of her clients got a call from a prospect who'd been dodging them for years, I believe, and said, hey, when are you in town next? I want to take you out to lunch. So of course the savvy sales guy said, I'm in town tomorrow. Shows up, goes to the lunch, and this prospect pulls out a printed article written by this content strategist and says, I really like what you're saying here. What would it look like for my company? That's what great content does for you. So let's talk about the least you need to know to have a great content strategy. And a couple of the other speakers have already touched on this. Your differentiators, kind of we talked about the why, the how. Your differentiators answer the question, why us? You know, why should people choose you over your competitors? You need to know the pains of your audiences, which is why now? Why should they engage you now rather than waiting a year or two? You need to know the stages of your buying cycle and the questions they have at each stage, and you need to know what you've already said. And this can be tricky. You need to know what content is already out there so that you can direct people, if you want to read more, here's the next content. So let's drill into those briefly. So how do you show that you're different? This is the differentiator piece. And a lot of companies have not gone through this in a systematic way. Of course, you can hire a marketing firm to do it. That's one great way. But you can also just talk to your clients, your customers, your prospects, and say, why are you considering us instead of a competitor? Or why did you choose us? Why do you stay with us? And a lot of times, what your clients or customers say is different than what you think. You may think that people are choosing you because you have some amazing widget or some great technology, and they're really choosing you because of some element of your service. So get clear about that. Secondly, you need to know their pains. And to do this, figure out your audiences. You figure this out by asking which of my customers would I most like to clone. And then look at those demographics and map those out as audiences. And then what are the pain points that are going to drive them in the door? And really, at most 2 to 5. So don't go more than that. Third, I've got a couple examples here of the buying cycle. And I'm not sure how easy this is to read in the back. But we have copies of this PowerPoint as a PDF up on our website, and I'll give you the link at the end so that you can look at this in depth. But when you map the buying cycle, you can see that at different stages, people are really in different places. Early on, they have a different set of questions than they do when they're actually thinking about, writing you a check, getting out their wallet. So as you map it out, you can plan appropriately. And remember to plan also for that end stage, that delight stage. Where you've got people who are already your customers or clients, but you want them evangelizing you. And here's another cool example. This is the one where you're definitely going to have to get the PDF to see all the little details. But this one, if you just look over on what's your left side, you'll see that they've broken out for each stage the questions and the barriers. And I would encourage you to do that, because when you understand the pain that's driving an audience, the questions it has, the barriers it's facing, now you're really starting to get a roadmap for the kind of content you need to create. You need to be answering those questions and helping them surmount those barriers. You also want to have different levels of hurdles, is how I think of this. So if you think about someone leaping over hurdles, early in the buying process, you want some really low hurdles, like guides and articles, really easy stuff, maybe some videos, something there's no capture form for people's information. They can just go right in, read the info, pass it along to people in their company. Then when they're in the middle of the buying stages, they're a little more interested. This is where if you have some marketing automation, you have a lead nurturing system, and I think we're going to talk a little bit more about some of that later in the program. Then you can start asking for people's email, you can get them to sign up, you offer weightier content in exchange for some contact information from them so you can start to nurture them. And then you can do the highest level of hurdle, call today for a free assessment, when you think they're going to be more sales ready. So you're going to put that further along in your website, for example, or if you're doing this as part of an email campaign, you're going to send it later on in the campaign. And then remember to put some content out there about how awesome you are for the people who would like to promote you. They've already hired you and they want to talk about that with their friends and colleagues. All right, so at this point, you might also be asking, okay, this is a presentation about technology. Do I need to create specific content for the online space? This slide just got outdated days ago, but let's pretend. So this is from the Google Panda update. But Google Hummingbird came out last week, so sadly I didn't have a good Hummingbird slide. But the cool thing about the direction that Google's been moving the last few years, and even with this latest update, is that when you really think about the content that people need, you tend to produce the kind of content that Google wants you to produce. So that's our SEO job has been getting to some degree easier over the last few years, though I think you're going to hear some of the intricacies in a minute. All right, and this is another one. You'll grab the PDF for this, because there are a lot of different kinds of high-value content. And mostly I put these all up here also to remind you to vary your content as you're planning this out, so you know what questions you're going to answer, you know what your differentiators are. Don't just write articles. Do some videos, maybe do some infographics, mix it up, because not all of your prospects have the same desire. Someone wants to sit and watch a 3-4 minute video. Other people are turned off by video. They want a white paper that they can go print out and dig into and mark up. So vary the kinds of content that you're doing. So these are this, according to HubSpot, are the really high-value formats, and then also don't forget these tip sheets and checklists, infographics, slideshows, podcasts, etc. There really are a lot of different kinds of content. And one way that you can get some great content is to take advantage of what you're already doing. You'll actually see that Melissa from my office is in the front row videoing me as I say this, so that we'll have a piece of content to walk away from this event with. So take advantage of what you're already doing to create that content. Common mistakes to avoid. Your review cycles are too long and you have too many people involved in them. You let your subject matter experts volunteer to write their own content and then they never ever do it. Yeah, exactly. I see the lapse of knowledge. Ghostwriting is a great cure for that. And not everyone knows that you can actually hire people to write things for you with your name on it. They interview you, write the article, you edit it, and then it goes to print. And it's so much easier than you trying to write it if you're not a natural writer. Another mistake is business development doesn't pay attention to the content. This is usually because marketing isn't giving it to BD in a way that they can use. So if you've done the work and you know what your pains are, what your customer pains are, sort your content by pains for your business development people so that when they identify a pain, they can go to the content library and get the right content. And then on the reverse side, business development doesn't tell marketing what they need. And for this, you might just have to have meetings. All right, here's my 1 second about SEO. Don't you wish it felt like that? Or does SEO feel like that for anyone in this room? I see not a single hand. Okay, for how many of you does it feel like this? So social media is just a channel. I stole this from actually an article about career choices, and it was warning millennials not to take a 100% social media career because those are going to go away. Social media is simply a function of marketing. It helps support branding, ROI, or both. Social media is a means to get more awareness, more users, or more revenue. It is not an end in itself. So when you take the time to put your content strategy together, some of your social media will fall out of that really naturally. And let me show you how. This is an example of an editorial calendar that's sort of by area of interest. Don't panic when you see the 3 times a week thing. You don't have to do that. But it's a good idea to think about. Let's sort by pain. Let's sort by niche. Let's look at how often are we producing content for these different areas. And then here's a great example that we actually use in my office that includes not only the basic author and date info of the content we're producing, but what's the associated offer, what keywords, what's the audience, what's the pain we're addressing. And generally when we're brainstorming content topics, that's when we talk about the differentiators and the pains, and then we record it in this calendar. And here, final slide, we have a spreadsheet that tracks not only the calendar, but also social media tracking, your content archive, lead nurturing sequences if you're doing lead nurturing, and that's online at this address, ingenuitymarketing.com/allied content. So that's available for you. Feel free to download it, try it out, let me know if you have any issues, and thank you very much.